This is a story about a CNC crash that almost took my life. The names have been removed, company names, any name has been removed to just so I can tell the story about the serious crash that I experienced in my life. In this picture, you can see that there's a big smash at the very back of the machine, and you can see that the boring bar is in the center of the chuck. This is a small chuck compared to the large jaws that were installed in the CNC, and I'll show you more pictures of what happened. These are the large chuck jaws, so you can have perspective of how large they are. Very heavy jaws. I had already bored the jaws and had my program set to not to exceed 800 RPM. And I got done boring a small hole and I was getting ready to open it up for a large part. Along came my boss and he jumped in there and, "Oh no, you got to be more aggressive." And he jacked up the RPM. You know how since you're starting in the center, that's the maximum RPM. And is okay. He made the modification. He said, "Okay, push the button." So I pushed the button and I heard the acceleration. It scared the hell out of me. So I started to try to run from the crash, and then it just massive explosion. It was like the scariest thing that I've ever experienced in my whole career as a machinist. You can see by looking at the table when the machine accelerated to 2,500 RPM, the door blew off and all the jaws flew off of the chuck, and you can see it hit the table, and I was standing on the right side of the door of the machine. The door blew off, hit the table, and my boss was standing in front, and it blew over the top of both of our heads and then landed on the ground. It was, and I fell on my ass trying to run away from the massive crash. That's a picture of the door after it blew off the machine and landed on the ground. In this picture, you can see the debris after the crash. You can see the jaw on the ground. There was other jaws scattered. There were parts found far away from the location, bearings that supported the door. I thank God that I'm still alive, that if it would have hit either one of us at the speed it was running, those massively heavy jaws would have killed us. And so I thank God today that I'm still alive. The only sad part was that my boss, for doing something so stupid, there was no repercussions at all. He still has his job. He didn't even get 3 days off. It was a massive, horrible decision that the company would support such a movement. Thanks for listening to my video, and give me a like if you agree that this was it was a horrible crash, that it should never happen if somebody was doing what stayed out of my business.